There's going to be a school opening in Frederick, in Maryland, and it's one of the first charter schools in there. There was another one that was splitting a school in Baltimore. He said, "Would you like to see it?" I said, "Yeah, I sure would." So we go up there. He said, "You know, you ought to be able to do something like that." I said, "You got to be kidding." Two guys sat in front of me, a couple of seats, and they're talking to each other constantly, and they seemed like they're pretty excited about whatever it was they were talking about. So when it comes coffee break, I couldn't help but walk up to him and say, "What you up to?" And Al says, "We're going to start a charter school." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Have you ever chartered a school?" He said, "No, but my friend in Georgia has them." I didn't hear from Al and Allie for about 3 months. And we went out and they called me up, and I knew the minute the phone rang it was Allie. And we met up in Glen Burnie and talked about doing this. And I said, "Well, what do you want? How many do you think you need? What kind of school? You know, I'm just a business guy. How many parking lots do you need?" In the meantime, I came in and talked to a lot of the potential parents. That was part of my job, and also to talk to the legislators and the county executive and the county superintendent and the school board.
At the beginning, we were dealing with the county, but at the same time, we were trying to get data from the parents. So we were going to the churches and the neighborhoods and knocking the doors, the neighbors, and telling them this is the plan that we have. We want to open a school. So we were trying to get the foundations to put the school in. And after that, then we attempt to open the school. We find a church. And the basement, or the bottom level of the church, was a school. So, and they weren't using it, so they rented to us. This is how the CSP started, with the bottom of the church.
But it wasn't easy. Like when we started, the local board of education, they had a new baby that was a CSP, and they didn't know what type of expectations should they have from this new baby that just started to walk. And then parents didn't know, the teachers didn't know, so we all had that unique experience. But we took a long way. As I said, it wasn't easy, but with everyone's hard work, dedication, we really made a difference, I believe, in the life of students and in the life of the community.
And we had to modify a lot of things, and there was a lot of work. And actually, one of the important things that I wanted to mention it, we all physically went in there with a lot of our friends, and we did the paintings, we put the floor down, the vinyl floor. We all did it by hand, because
Didn't have any money.
financially we weren't strong. So we had probably 20, 30 people working at the same time, moving the furnitures, and we were going to the people to help us financially. So it all started that we had nothing.
Yeah. When we added the gym on, he made us get the same brick, all that stuff. But it worked out good.
There are many things to do since the school was in an expansion, adding more grade levels every year. We had to build a gym construction. It was very hard to do.
One of the, graduation requirements in Maryland is to have a gym credit, and so
building the gym.
we were a big part of the parent group. We used to call it
Parent task force.
Yeah, we were a big part of the parent group that helped to build this gym, basically, because we had to put this gym in, and we had to figure out how to pay for a gym.
They told us it would be open before the end of their 6th grade year. We didn't open it until the middle of 8th grade was when the gym finally opened.
Yeah, so that our
kids
our seniors basically could get their gym credit.
Parents believed us, and it was one of the years that they were going to make a decision on us again. So we were in River Road in the Board of Education. We had a meeting started at 7 o'clock. Our agenda was, I believe, around 12 o'clock or 11:30. It was one of the latest. The parents brought their children. The whole room was full with the parents, with their kids sleeping on their laps, that they want to give us the support. They want that school to survive.
Well, the school opened for the 2005-2006 school year, and we started in the 2010-2011 school year.
So it would have been its 5th year.
We found Chesapeake Science Point in 2004, 2005. I got a little card in the mailbox.
I remember finding out that Chesapeake Science Point existed when Alexis was in 5th grade, and I was looking for
an alternative
school for middle and high school. I remember going to CSP because then the lottery was very different than it is now.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the cafeteria at CSP and doing the lottery, right? And they literally drew a piece of paper name out of a glass fishbowl, and they drew the name out and they taped it on a piece of paper as they called it out. And that year, they were actually going to be enrolling more students than we do now. It was almost double, I think.
120 that year.
Yeah, and so she was number 140, so she was 20 on the wait list. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Didn't really know what I was getting into.
And the local middle school would not have been a good fit for him, so I was looking for different places that he would go that he would fit in. And they were having an open house coming up near the end of the school year, so we decided we'd go and check it out.
We didn't get our acceptance for Cameron until May. So
we
sat on there going, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? We actually thought, we were looking, oh my gosh, are we gonna have to move? What are we gonna do? We got the acceptance in May, and I literally hung up the phone with June and just cried happy tears.
Yeah.
He immediately, Mom, look at this. Mom, look at this. This is a kid that doesn't get excited about anything. To this day, he doesn't get excited about a whole heaping lot. I was happy that he was able to get the placement because it was a lottery drawing to see who was going to get in.
Yeah, and interesting for us coming into middle school, CSP hadn't had their first graduating class yet when we came into middle school. So our kids were freshmen when the first seniors graduated?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have a kitchen in that building. School chef, the person in charge of the kitchen, Miss Sue, she would go over to Meade High School and cook the food over there and then bring it back in her van. Well, I started helping her out towards the end of being in that building and would help her bring some of the food back over because sometimes she just didn't have big enough room in her van, and I had a van, and she'd call and say, I need you to meet me at Mead. We have a few extra things that won't fit. Okay. And then we moved over to the other building, and the process of moving over to the other building involved parents, pickups, vans, trailers, and a couple of U-Hauls, because we literally had to take everything out of that building and move it over to the new building, which is where CSP is still to this day.
It was exciting. People were so excited about the space. We started off with this big welcome ceremony in the cafeteria. There was no gym yet. But I mean, it seems like inadequate at this point because we're full to the brim, but at that point we were just the one hallway and a lot of the rooms were closed off. But you know, moving into our own school that was a real school, and to be part of that was exciting. We had to sort through all the boxes because the moving truck came, they just emptied the school and just put it here. So I'm like, where's the social studies stuff? They're like, look. I'm like, so we looked and I found it. But it was an exciting place because the kids were excited to be here, parents were excited to be here. And like I said, I was the only social studies teacher, so I was like, okay, let's do this. And we did.
Well, when they first applied for their child to go here, I mean, we get phone calls, you know, begging and pleading, please, please take my child. We pick up anywhere in Anne Arundel County, and I know one particular student that went here from 6th grade to 12th, and his parents rode him 20 minutes to the bus stop, and then he was on the bus for an hour and a half coming and going back. But he stuck it out because he wanted to go here, and he stayed here and graduated from here.
One of my heroes are the parents. That they gave us the support what we needed. And we couldn't do without their help and support.
You know, I call it the magic triangle: parent, teacher, and student.
I was with CLF between 2008 and 2013. I was the first CEO of the CLF. There are a lot of memories in Baltimore, Anne Arundel County, and Prince George's County. I always say that charter school business is not a normal business, so you need crazy people to run that business. And we had enough crazy people to make difference in Maryland's public education. There was a lot of challenges. The Maryland is very unique, you know, when you compare to the other states. The school that we took over in Baltimore City used to be called Chincope Middle School, and then we changed the name Baltimore IT Academy. And it was a huge building. The capacity may be over 1,500 capacity, but when we took over the building, there was just 120 kids over there. So we had a 3-year journey over there, and then I think we made quite a bit difference. And you know, but later on, of course, the contract was canceled, and it wasn't easy for us because the demographics, population, and the challenges, they were totally different in CSP in Anne Arundel County, you know. And then when you go there, you have to shift the gear, and then to meet the needs of the population in a different way.
I am the principal of CMIT North Middle School. I've been there since we opened the school in 2011, starting out as a social studies teacher. And so this is my 6th year as the principal. The students that I graduated high school with were the same students that I went to elementary school with. And CMIT and CLF schools create a community much like that.
But when we opened the CMIT in Prince George's County, it was very exciting. You know, the demographics, when you look at the subgroups and stuff, they were different, but it was, you know, I think in the first year we got really quite a bit nice, you know, the test scores and interest from the parents. It was, it was telling people that, hey, what these guys are doing is working, and then everybody is excited, the board and the administrations.
Normally the CLF was based on the schools at that time, but now CLF act as an entity.
Before me, there was no central office. Then it was in the mezzanine floor of the CMIT Middle School.
I am currently the principal of CMIT Elementary North. And the way I began at CMIT Elementary was back in 2014. I was looking for something new, and at that time in 2014, STEM was the new wave in education. And so when I was looking, I noticed there was a new charter school that was being opened in the elementary sector. So I came on board and everything was sparkly new. We had all of these, great things that were in the classroom. It was nice because it was definitely different than a regular public school setting.
I'm the very proud principal of Chesapeake Math and IT Academy South Middle High School. Immediately upon my arrival, I saw a very different perspective. I was very excited to join a STEM-focused school, right? A school that had a lot of the resources that were necessary to move the work and given the ability to do things outside of the box, right? Never being in a school where there were so many different pathways to certification for students, STEM clubs, and just being able to be very creative in our curriculum that we use for our STEM programs has been something that, as a mathematician, as a math teacher, that I wish I was a teacher and started here at one of CLF schools.
I'm a principal at CMIT North High School. Actually, my journey started with CLF school system for about 13 years. CLF kind of discovered me as a teacher. They invited me to be a judge in one of their science fair.
And I'm the proud and privileged principal of CMIT South Elementary School. This is my 17th year in education, and what I can honestly say is the Chesapeake Lighthouse Foundation has been an excellent charter operator of our school.
I'm the principal of Chesapeake Science Point. I've been here since 2017. Each year since I've been here, the number of applicants increases. This year, we had over 1,000 applications. We only accept about 10% of the number of applicants. So 100, 105 at maximum. And we're getting all types of emails, phone calls. What can we do? We'll work there, we'll volunteer. So that's a testament to the staff.
And so it's nice to be a part of that community and to see that community feel in this larger metropolitan area. And I don't think you get that with many of the districts and schools in this area. And so that's probably one of my favorite things about working at CMIT is a sense of community and growth.
I think parents were knocking down doors in the beginning because where their students were at that time, their needs were not being met. And they're meaning the students' needs and also the parents' needs. So we send out surveys. We just recently wrapped up our registration and orientation sessions. And during that, parents are allowed to ask questions. We give them a tour. So we answer all types of questions.
It was actually one of the best decisions that I made because I realized that now I can truly affect other classrooms. But then, of course, I was able to become the principal here at CMIT Elementary North. And it was definitely a stretching opportunity for me because it is very important that we address all stakeholders, not only making sure our students learn, but also making sure that we service our parents and give them the opportunity to actually volunteer and share their expertise, because it takes a community for us to grow. Something is definitely working. There's a magic in the CLF schools because it's truly a community of people who choosing to be together, and that matters. And so while we are choosing to be together, we are choosing to make sure our students soar and be successful.
This is really a school system you can bring like crazy ideas and nobody will say like it is crazy. You will find at least one or two person who will sit down with you and discuss the idea, no matter it is crazy, no matter it is like impossible or something like that. You know, they will listen to you very seriously and they will try to see like what you are trying to accomplish, and maybe you will have a chance to implement your crazy idea.
CLF has been instrumental in my success as a beginning principal. They've supported the school in so many ways in the form of just academic support, financial support, having think partners, being able to meet and dialogue with the actual founder of this was an awesome experience. So to really hear his heart and hear the heart of CLF and how instrumental the work that we currently do in carrying out that vision. And so having those think partners, having that additional support has been very monumental in the continuous success of CMIT South Middle High School.
When you giving your time or yourself much into the educators, and when you have your community noticing that, they of course reward you, but one other reward of that is they push you to go with an admin position or something, you know. Although I was so happy with teaching in the classroom, but I took some opportunities. So I became a counselor at the school first. Actually, I think it was first program coordinator. Then I became a school counselor, and then I became assistant principal.
2014 was my first experience with working with CLF. The elementary school opened in Laurel, and I came on board as a 4th and 5th grade teacher. Then they're growing their own. You build those individuals who are working within your organization to stabilize it. And so I moved up as an instructional coach. And then when the new charter school opened in Upper Marlboro, I went there to work as an assistant principal.
I was a 5th grade math and science teacher. Then I had the pleasure of becoming the ecology teacher. And now I'm currently the program coordinator / STEM coordinator.
Currently teach 3rd grade math and science, but originally when I first started, I started teaching 1st grade back in 2014. It was my first year teaching, and I was given the opportunity to come to the school by the principal at that time. And it was a very exciting journey for me. I've been wanting to teach ever since I was a little kid. So getting the opportunity to come here and teach was amazing.
I've been a native Marylander all my life. So I was looking for an opportunity in a charter, a smaller environment, a lot of technology, all those opportunities that I know charter schools can offer.
I started in CMIT South Elementary School, and then I came here after then to CMIT North High School.
My jaw was on the floor with all the amenities and the newness of everything.
CLF team and admin helped me in supporting how to teach, how to management, how to contact the parents.
I don't feel like CLF micromanaged us from the beginning, and along the way in my 9 years here, it's been, hey, if you need us, we're here. You have the staff on site, the qualified personnel to run your school, do what you need to do.
I just really like being here. This has been, like I said, I started here as a 1st year teacher, and I've never wanted to go anywhere else.
I've been able to work with our leadership team, working with them alongside to make sure that we provide a safe and a very positive.
I just really like being here. This has been, like I said, I started here as a 1st year teacher, and I've never wanted to go anywhere else. after school for a long time, trying to make sure that I was doing right by the kids, and I wanted to make sure that I was giving them what they needed and what they, so that they could succeed.
I like working in CLF schools because I had the flexibility. This is the one of the thing you can just adjust your curriculum as it necessary, and then you can just do the competitions as you want, which is my favorite part actually, because I like being a math Olympiads teacher, the coach of them, and then we are actually working with the group of the students for 4 years. We are joining the national and international level math competitions, and we are bringing some of the good scores to our schools. Yay to us.
Those students that are extremely doing well, to take them to the next step. So I started working with the students. We started around 10 students, and I was coming to the school every day 1 hour before school started to work with those 10 students. Of course, this multiplied over time, and as more parents, students heard about the program, they wanted to join. I think after 3 or 4 months, we didn't have any chairs enough in the room for all students.
At first, for sure, it was a lot of weekend hours, a lot of staying after school. And I feel like it's that way for a lot of first-year teachers, even within the first couple of years, it's like that. Just because you're trying to get your feet wet, you're trying to figure out, what works best for you, what works best for the kids, what works best for the parents, So what we made sure to do was we made sure we were in constant communication with parents, talking to them, making sure that they knew where their kids needed to be or how to get them there, those kinds of things.
My journey started as a volunteer. I volunteered off and on in the beginning. By our second year in this building, and I was fully committed, I was here pretty much every day, almost all day. When we started this building, us parents came together and we put in a lot of sweat equity. We put the building together. I personally put together the cafeteria tables. We put up all the bulletin boards. We came in for 3 days straight and put the entire school together so we would be ready to start the school year in 2015.
Back then, we also did home visits, so we would go visit the houses. I know I visited quite a few houses, which was really, really interesting. I had never heard of that being done before, but I know it's something that the CLF schools do.
I think CLF opened another school in Prince George's County. So I got an offer saying, hey, we could start a great program at CSP. Why don't we kind of transfer this program to our sister school, which is at Prince George's County. So that was sweet, and I really want that to continue, because what was started at CSP was kind of with the parents' involvement. We had a lot of volunteers coming from NASA, NSA. They were coming and helping in the morning practices. So I felt like this program can continue without me. So I kind of moved to the other school to kind of, continue the same program at CMIT.
STEM programs manager at CLF now, but previously I was the department chair at Chesapeake Science Point. One of the things I think it's important for us to realize at CLF or any charter school is that we are a choice school, right? So one of the things that we want to make sure we do is promise something to our parents that we can hold our hat to. For us, that's STEM. Just making sure that anything the schools need to make sure they are selling STEM to our parents and our stakeholders, we do.
What I have experienced here working with CLF schools is that red tape is not there. And what I mean by that is that the money that is allotted for students go to students, specifically for STEM. I know that with our STEM fair that we have every year, students are rewarded for their hard work of going through the scientific process.
STEM is a big focus at CLF schools. It is something that students who attend any CLF school will have a variety of different ways in which to explore STEM fields. Through experiences in Science Olympiad, Track Bridge. There's a variety of different programs that operate at CLF schools, like even our green school projects and things like that bring along with it a lot of science math and technology, and so on. So STEM is interwoven and completely infused into just about every program at the school. And all of that is very important because it's important for our students to not only be aware of how science, technology, engineering, and mathematics impact, their educational aspirations, but also how it impacts the world, how it impacts various areas of society. So it's not just being in front of a computer, but also it's being actively, engaged in applying science, applying mathematics to solve real-world problems. So it's been a pleasure to see a lot of our students go to national competitions, international competitions like our math magicians, who are really engaged in global competitions and being ranked highly as well.
We have families who've come through here, so it's not just 1 or 2 students. We have students who, siblings, that 5 or 6 of them have come through at one point or another. So that first 67 who took a chance, okay, it's amazing here. They talked about small class sizes. They promised it would be a STEM focus. They promised that the teachers would be dedicated and go above and beyond. They talked about the after-school activities that would be provided. So that small group took a chance. And it's just like with anything. It's like when people do their reviews on Yelp. You go there, you take an opportunity, the meal is good, the service is great, then you start talking about that. So word got out. So people started, yes, I want to send my student there. That was why they needed to move, as Ms. Calvert said, from that smaller building at the industrial park to here. And now we're bursting at the seams where eventually we're going to have to move and relocate again.
The enrichment program. So that enrichment program was at one school or 2 with minimum number of students. But right now we have more than 500 students, cluster coordinators. So down the road, we enhance our practices to be more successful.
Those out-of-box thinkings, those crazy ideas created our CLF programs actually. But there was no term of dual enrollment back then because of nobody tried before having high school students in the college environment. Right now, as a high school principal, I'm really proud of to say I have 30% of my students who is enrolling at least 1 to 5 dual enrollment courses before they will graduate.
I think the founding board members, I think 2 guys that the Spear talks about a lot, how we met with them. I think it was like they met like 2-3 years ago at a conference. Al and Ali, I think one was in Johns Hopkins doing his PhD in mathematics, and the other one was a computer science engineer at UMD. And it was basically the day idea to get started. And then that was just after the No Child Left Behind.
I joined in 2016, and then after a couple of years, I became the president of the board, and I have been serving as the board president since around 2018. So the function of the board of directors is to carry out the vision and the mission of the Chesapeake Lighthouse Foundation. So we are proud to be able to contribute to the execution of this mission.
Chesapeake Lighthouse board member, and I'm a parent representative. So I started out volunteering at the school. I was a parent volunteer, and then I ended up being the volunteer coordinator for the school. and then I ended up being the PTO president like two years later. So I've been with the CMIT South for about 6 years.
When we visit the schools and the parents come to the board meetings and voice their concerns, and our job is to monitor that these concerns are addressed to the satisfaction of the parents.
I think the importance of serving on the board and as a parent is that I'm the voice for the other parents.
So I have been a professor since 2012, and every year I see, the same age people, but I'm getting older every year, but I can see a difference in the students' preparedness to college. And I feel like it's not always in the direction of better preparedness. And it all starts in K through 12. And I think if we can help prepare a better education environment in the K through 12 system, students will be much better prepared for the college experience and what comes after it. I'm happy to be celebrating the 20th year of CLF, and I'm happy to be part of the team. And I think CLF here is here to stay because we are dedicated as a team to the success of our students, and also dedicated to doing the job in the best way possible. At the end of the day, this is an organization that has to be able to sustain itself with the resources that we get from the state and the federal government. And our mission is to make sure that we are accountable to the taxpayers who are supporting us. And I think as long as we are careful in sticking to these policies that we have, CLF is going to be here to stay for a very long period of time.
The thing that kept me going to still remain with the CLF is the mission. The parents, the teachers, and the community just working together. It's a family.
I'm the purchasing coordinator, I guess you can say, here at Chesapeake Lighthouse Foundation. I handle all of the purchasing that teachers request and put POs in for, the principals, the bus chartering, paying the phone bills, electricity bills, all that stuff has to come through me now. I used to attend the first high school here in Laurel, Maryland, Chesapeake Math and IT Academy North. I was actually a member when it was all in one building, so we had middle and high where the middle school is now. But I am of the first graduating class in 2017, so I have a lot of pride working here, knowing that what I'm doing someone did for me in the past, and it's nice to be the man behind the scenes purchasing things for people.
I am an IT technician at CMIT North Middle School. I was originally a student at CSP when we first opened in 2005. I went into a STEM program, so I've always had a tech background focus.
I'm a graduate of Chesapeake Science Point, class of 2015, and I currently am a teacher at Chesapeake Math and IT Academy North High School.
Teachers here are very dedicated. I find myself coming early at school in the morning and staying very late at night just to work with teachers on projects, schoolwork, and sometimes even club work.
I'm a Chesapeake Science Point graduate 2017. I'm currently an engineer, but I help out with the Chesapeake Science Point robotics team as their lead mentor.
A lot of technology classes, such as last year I know we took Java and C++, and this year there's a lot of classes like Photoshop that the 12th graders are taking. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity for things besides just the core subjects.
I joined as a 6th grader, was really impressed by the support that CLF gave, and also the amount of time and effort that teachers were able to give towards these generally extracurricular activities. I mean, we had some teachers that were there 5 days a week in the mornings, Saturdays, Sundays. We even had upperclassmen supporting these weekend programs and mentoring them.
I think one of the things I appreciated the most about the teachers at CSB is that, if you asked, they would always find a way to make it work. Maybe they couldn't stay with you that weekend. Maybe they couldn't spare a minute after school that day. But later that week, they'd make time for you. Or the next weekend, they'd try to make some time for you. And I think that really made a difference,
I would say, I never did learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. but
He was building computers instead.
I definitely did enter college feeling incredibly confident in the fact that I knew what I wanted to do and that I was able to achieve it. I thought, I saw the curriculum that CSP handed me and saw the classes I would take in college, and I said, yeah, I can handle doing incredibly difficult courses and being able to time manage, and I felt like I had a real head start in terms of being able to succeed in my post-high school career.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think it's the academic standards that they set very early on. Like I think in middle school is where it makes a big impact, because you know from the very beginning, from the time you're in middle school, that you can't settle for less. You're not only in an environment where you're being pushed, but you also learn to push yourself. And I think that's a culture that was instilled in me when I was a CSP student.
I mean, CSP for many years has pushed a STEM-focused curriculum, and because of that, I think they have a disproportionate amount of graduates who have come to work in the STEM fields. I think the best thing that we can do to support our alma mater is to provide the knowledge that we've gained back to the students in some form.
I started in 2016. It's been almost 7 years now. I saw that Chesapeake Lighthouse Foundation was well established. They had a very good relationship with the authorizers, the school districts, Prince George's County and Anne Arundel County. The schools were successful, and the success in part was because of the strong partnership that they had. CLF schools had a STEM focus, so that's where I looked at what we could do better, how we could improve things. There was already a focus on technology. We had dual enrollment programs focusing on information technology at our high schools. So they were the beacon of the schools, and doing a great job, students graduating with associate degrees, at least some of them. So they had already done a lot of things. They had already accomplished a lot of things. Thinking about the future of CLF, my vision is multifold. First thing is we want to expand as an organization. The first step was getting a new elementary charter school for Anne Arundel County. We got that charter petition approved, and we are starting with that new school this fall. We have already hired a new principal, and that is going well. So we want to expand into other counties as well, because we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. Currently, we only work with 2 counties, and most of our schools are in Prince George's County. What we want to see, what we can do in other places, like Frederick County or Charles County or Baltimore County. And that's one thing, expansion and growing as an organization. But while we are growing, we want to grow slowly and increase the quality. And when we talk about the quality, we have to go and think back of our mission. Our mission and our focus is mostly about STEM education. And our schools are doing a great job about STEM. We want to do more project-based learning in our schools. We want to increase the coding in our schools. We want to implement blended learning. Some of our schools have started trying blended learning in our schools. And we want to make that across all our schools. We want to increase the amount of online instruction in our schools. The future is changing, and we need to change with it. The truth is, we are preparing students for an unknown future. Today it's smartphones. What will it be tomorrow? It's virtual reality, and we're adapting virtual reality to our schools. We have already done that. We have purchased equipment. We are doing professional training for that. But it's not just enough to use current day's technology. The future holds a lot of different things, and we don't know what it holds. So the only way for our students to be successful in the future is to be problem solvers. They need to learn skills to be adaptable, to be flexible, to be able to work in team environments, and to be able to adapt to changes very quickly. We don't micromanage our schools, and we pride ourselves because of that. And I think that local decision-making is key to charter school success. We talk about autonomy for charter schools, which is important, that brings success, but site-based decision-making is one key factor that makes our schools more successful. Charter schools sometimes are like district schools in their way that they do cookie cutter models. They have one successful charter school, they try to replicate that by replicating it exactly the way it is. But when your schools are in different locations with different demographics, the same model may not work the same way in other places. And we're aware of that every child is different, every school is different, every demographic is different. So you need to know who you're working with, you need to know who your stakeholders are. And principals in different locations, schools in different locations have to be able to make adjustments within your model without shifting away too much, but they have to be able to make their own decisions. Many times people ask, what is the key ingredient to your success? And it's impossible to just say, highlight one thing. I would say it's organizational cultures, but the biggest thing is your staff, your leaders in that organization, our principals. We have great principals, we have great assistant principals, we have great teachers at our schools. We have great people at CLF. Our parents are very involved. A charter school's success many times depends on the involvement of the parents. And without them, we couldn't do it because of the long way we have come. The first people that built those charter schools may have gone through a lot of challenges, but because of them, we are where we are today.